Hello everybody, this is particularly for you folks out there still locked down, unable to get out, and depending on people like myself to keep you informed with the rest of the world. We had fantastic response to the latest video. You know the one? Surely you remember the one. It was the one about the dog. I'm St Pierre White. Join me as I share my passion for building four-wheel drive trucks and then travelling to the remotest parts of the world. The fact is there were more comments about the dog than there were about the build. That's okay, because a lot of great comments about the build. So this is just a little fill up article, vlog about what's going on and to answer some of those questions. And so I arrived this morning and there is this absolutely wonderful, well, that's my camera box. It's my new camera box. Hey, how about that? And I can access it from the top as well. Ta-da-da-da. And if I want to lock it, I just push that down a bit and it's now locked. Right, so the other thing I wanted to mention is the net above. You notice that thing? So a lot of people asked, what about that? How nice is that? Where'd you get it? Well, it's homemade. And it's basically bungee cords. But I'm taking it out because Rob called me yesterday and said, I've got a better idea. So we're going to do something completely unique in there. A net like that is fantastic because you put your towels, your jackets, especially jackets, they end up lying around everywhere when you're not wearing them, getting dirty, getting in the way. Fantastic to put them up there. Towels, anything like that. And so I will have a solution, but we're going to do something, well, he is going to do something unique. Now, the rear seats, a lot of people said, some of them just kind of making sure I was obeying the law. You need a certification for that, and have you got this, and asking all of those questions, you know. And a bit pointy fingery, a little, but actually in Australia, we need to get it registered as now as a two-seater. And really it's for liability, public liability and that kind of thing. And all I need to do is to take the seat belts out. Now, if I had a system where I could take out this easily and put in a back seat and then turn it into a four-seater, I wouldn't need to do that. But I must be able to display that this can come out easily and the seat returned. I decided against it because when we started designing the back, we realized that to do that would reduce the versatility of this by a massive factor. And I decided, no, I'm building a two-seater overland vehicle, not a four-seater. The number of times I will require it to carry people in the back is so few. Why? I had to make a decision. So the answer to many of you is no, it is a two-seater. It is not a four-seater and it will not be converted to a four-seater. I will have to have the vehicle inspected, signed off, and that is a very, very simple thing to do. Tyre smell, I was a bit surprised by people saying, oh, the tyre is going to stink. Some person said, poor old Gwyn. Well, new tyres smell. Old tyres, I don't think they smell, do they? I haven't experienced, for example, a couple of my station wagons, well, let me think, my Range Rover, were there any more? No, I think that was the only one. And my dad's Range Rover had a tyre inside. Did it smell? I don't think it smelled, but then again, the vehicle was very smelly. You could smell gearbox oil all the time. So, but it wasn't, the point is that it surprised me a bit because I don't think old tyres smell that badly. It's not like a pungent smell. But anyway, I have ordered now from a canvas place here in Wangara a bag that it'll eliminate the smell, and it'll also, because we're going to make it out of vinyl, help me slide that last slide into place of the spare wheel. It'll help me. Also, a lot of people, yes, you mentioned that I'd put it the wrong way around, and that if I put it the other way around, in other words, had the dish out, I would have a place to store stuff. Absolutely correct. There's actually, that's the only way you can actually mount it. The length of the screw, the way the way the bolt works and mounts it in, you can actually only mount it in with the hub out, as it were. So there will be space to put some stuff in there. I'm not building that space in the canvas, the vinyl bag, as it were. I won't build it into the bag, but it will have a zip so I can access stuff and store in there quite easily. What would I store in there? Not sure. Not sure. I imagine I'll find something. So some of you might have noticed a little modification I've done here. There's my little travel buddy. I replaced the shelves in there. They're all fixed in position. I'm now going to have to work out my boxes and things and how they're all going to work. But there's my little travel buddy. A lot of you have asked about the fridge slide. Whose fridge slide is that? Now, I can't tell you. And the reason why I can't tell you is I've been asked not to. And the reason why I've been asked not to is bizarre. But here it is anyway. A while ago, I was threatened with a lawsuit by the agents, the Australian agents for the company that makes that slide, because I said something that was not altogether to their liking. And they said, and they threatened me with a lawsuit, you may never, but the lawsuit said, you may never talk about us again unless it's positive. Specifically, unless it's positive. And the same goes for the company that they distribute for in Australia. You may not say anything about them, otherwise we'll sue you unless it's good. So I thought, well, okay, well, in that case, if I can't say anything, if I have to say everything is good and you're going to threaten me if I say something is bad, then, well, I won't say anything. It's that South African company. Oh, by the way, during this whole thing, I actually called the South African company and said, are you aware of this? They said, oh, yes, we're right behind them. Okay. The next thing is, what is the next thing? Am I going to change the raised air intake? And I had initially thought I would go to what I had on the troop carrier, and then I kind of was thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking, well, what is the advantage? The advantage with something like the Safari snorkel, I'll have a proper, I wouldn't say waterproof, but certainly a water-resistant casing, so the vehicle could be used for very deep water wading, which I would avoid doing anyway, but if I had to, I would do deep water wading. And this does not protect, it is not a snorkel. This is a raised air intake. There's quite a clear definition here. There's a difference here, that this is not a snorkel. What this does, though, is better it pre-cleans the air. So the air comes in here and it's got a cyclonic, and it spins and throws the larger particles out, and only the fine particles are sucked in. It's quite clever at keeping the air clean, but you don't have the ram effect that you would have with, say, a Safari snorkel. And the ram effect will increase performance, I don't think by a lot, but there is a measurable increase in performance. And certainly the guys on the Dynatunes and things like that will tell you that there is, a couple of kilowatts. And that wouldn't surprise me. So am I going to change it ultimately? Probably. Somebody said that I was having too much fun. Too much fun? Damn sure. Damn sure I'm having too much fun. I wanted to also mention another thing about if you post a comment and you also put a link, the moment you put a link on it, YouTube flags it and puts it aside. It's not automatically posted. And it doesn't matter what kind of, because they protect the channel against spam. I get to see some of those to approve or not approve. And what I generally do is, if somebody has sent a link that I think will be of benefit to the people watching the video, learning from the video, oh, here's a new product, there's an interesting new way of doing things, that kind of stuff, I will pass them and let them go. But I also get a lot of please go to my channel, sub to my channel, and it's a channel about riding bicycles. So I just get rid of those. But I don't know about the ones that YouTube does not let go. So if you can send a link, that's fine, try it if you want to. But if you've got a contribution to make in text form, put it separately to your link. Put a link as another comment, because then your comment that doesn't have the link will always automatically just go through immediately, whereas your link wiped. I have had such a good week working on the truck and going in and just seeing what Rob and the boys have done. So now I'm back in my garage, and it's my now job to redo all the wiring that I have done before. This is far more satisfying. So what I've got here is their installation of the twin compressor. They built me a special bracket which they powder coated. It goes behind that bulkhead. I have taken these beauties, these little Hella lights. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh, yummy, 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 yummy. They're about $150 a piece, so they're not cheap. So I had them back there. I'll move them onto here, drill a hole through and run the cables all hidden behind there. The centerpiece, I dismantled it, and dismantling it and putting it back together again is not that easy. It's so going back to whether I could take this out and put the seat back. I could, but to demonstrate that I could do it easily would be impossible. So I have to make it a two-seater, permanent two-seater. But if I was to sell the vehicle and convert it to a four-seater again, I just put the seat belts back and take the slot out and put the seat back. I've kept the seat. So I haven't completely eliminated the idea that this could one day carry 4 people again. Right, so what I'm doing now is running wires. Right, so what I've got to wire in here to the DC to DC charger and the Egon hub, DC hub, a solar power. That's an Anderson plug. The main fridge here between the seats. A separate Anderson output for something like if I wanted to put an extra fridge in or something that was going to draw a reasonable amount of current. Wiring to the top console, wiring to the bottom console, which is all done. My UHF radio, the battery monitor, the compressor, that wiring's done. The main cable from the engine, that's already done. I have a cell phone booster, and I have a power bank up here. I've just constructed this now. This is the power bank. I need to wire that up, and that goes up there so that when I'm working here I have power and USB charging points. You know, I was thinking about, you know, explaining what I'm doing and having it, you know, showing what I'm doing. And the trouble is that the moment I say, oh, you should do something like this, particularly with electrical stuff, you know, do it like this because this is what works, I get hammered by people that don't want to learn. They just don't learn. They just want to tell everybody how much they know. So anyway, I'll mention cable thicknesses. Just a brief thing about cable thicknesses. Now I've got the big thick cable here. I'll show it to you close up on camera. Can you see that there? All right, is that in focus for you? Hope that is in focus for you. Okay, that is going to a Anderson plug, and Anderson plugs look like this. There are different sizes. This is a 50 amp Anderson plug. That could easily take probably 100 amps over. The length will probably be about meter and a bit, and that is going to be for any external equipment I might want to attach to it. Maybe a compressor, a fridge. Can't think of anything that would draw more current than a compressor, but 50 amps is a lot. So it'll be able to do a multitude of tasks. This is, to me, a perfect Saturday morning. Absolutely perfect. Working on my truck, but I've got a big project, and I'm looking forward to a trip. Nothing comes better than that. And I'm actually waiting for the phone to ring because John works at QuickPitch. He doesn't work for QuickPitch, he works at QuickPitch. He's an independent contractor, and he is a brilliant welder. He welds all of their stainless steel tanks, he does all of their alu welding and everything. Beautiful work, and he's building the tray base. And so I reckon that'll be next video, but I'm hoping that the next video will actually be the fitting of that and the camper. I don't know how well you can see there, but what I've done here is I've wrapped the cable from the compressor with a little bit of, it's like a foam cloth. That's because after I'd mounted everything, I move things around and I poke things to find potential rattles and to find potential places where things can chafe. So here, this air line, although it's well protected in the steel braid, I have protected it with some heat shrink tube because there's a chafing point there. There's definitely a chafing point there. It's not a serious one, but just a little bit of extra protection, and that now, even if it moves, cannot make any noise. Now I'm thinking about putting the power supply down here somewhere, because if I say, for example, if I put in a fridge here, then where would the power would either be here, but depending on which way the fridge is orientated, if the power was there I could run the cable around the back. If it was here I could run it around the back. Actually both will work. This is the centerpiece through the console, and I sit this side of it. Okay, so that's my working area. What I could do is put all of this equipment on this side. There is an orifice which has a plug, so that goes like that. So what I could do is easily put all of this equipment behind here. I don't need to see the DC-DC charger all the time. There are times where you would want to see what's happening as a kind of a diagnostic, but you don't need to see it all the time. So I'm thinking about putting that like that. I'm putting the radio in here. Right, I also have the mobile phone amplifier. It's the perfect place for it. Again, there's some lights on here that are diagnostic, so I can put that like that. And the inverter, I actually just took it out from where I had mounted there to see if this would be a practical place to put it. Only a practical place if I could actually make a hole on the other side and have that exposed to the work side, which is this side. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. The piece section here is actually the drawer actually comes up to that, so that's full. So this is the place where we had decided to put all of the electrical, and it's going to work very well. I still need to make a decision with regards to the inverter and the battery monitor, which I should probably fit first before I fit that. So I now have to cut a hole that big, and I'm thinking about putting it, because this is something that I will refer to often, you know, not occasionally, but you know, when I often. But in the this will only measure and give me information about the vehicle system, not the camper system. That we're going to do something pretty special with that. We're actually going to go a lot further than a simple system with that. But for this will suffice. It's going to have to go there. Right, so there it is. I decided to put it on the left because the power, so that's a power supply strip, sits here, so I've got all of the electrical stuff here, and therefore any wires from the power things can run underneath it, and trying to visualize it in the car. In the back, final location for these three items. So that's the Redoc DC to DC, the GME UHF radio, and the mobile phone amplifier. These do generate some heat. There is venting here and venting here. So that's actually the reason why I decided that it would be a bad idea to put the inverter in here as well, because I think that might just be too much heat for the space. Man, and this plywood is unbelievable. This is as light as balsa wood, literally. This particular, it's a unique lightweight ply that Rob said that he managed to acquire. It weighs nothing. You know, I love to dream while I'm doing the work and building these vehicles, particularly when I'm on my own, nobody else around, and I'm just doing my thing and developing something. And the dream is, and you must forgive me here, because this video, as I said up front, I warned you, this is for the guys in lockdown and for keen followers of this build. That's why I go on and on and on. So if you don't like the sound of my voice, I'm hoping by now you're long gone. But I like to dream about what I'm going to do with my vehicle, and the challenge is that if I tell you what I'd love to do with the vehicle, I picture myself in it crossing the Kalahari. Now I'm editing at the moment the world's first overland feature film. I don't know if it's the world's first, but I'm going to call it the world's first. I think it might be. It's a full-length feature film, and it's edited in such a way that it will be presented as a feature film. And it involves some of my trips through the Kalahari. And I'd like to go and follow the footsteps of that particular feature film, go back there, because the first part is 2008, then 2009, and then 2014, and then 2018. And all of these trips tell a story. They actually tell one story, which is what the feature film is all about. And I visualize myself. I know I have a vehicle in Africa. I know I built my 105 in Africa, which is now sitting, and I can't do anything about it. I can't go there. And I'm wondering what the future is going to be of that vehicle, particularly if you know, we can't travel. And I believe it'll take quite a long time before we are free to travel safely, do world travel again. I think that might take some time, but I dream of actually driving this vehicle and actually spending 3 months, not 3 weeks, but 3 months in Africa and doing a massive trip. 6 months. United States, North America, I would love. This is expensive. Shipping a vehicle is very expensive. But to have this vehicle for a period of 6 months in the US and go and drive up to Prudhoe Bay in northern Alaska and drive it all the way down the length of, I wouldn't do Pan Americas, but I would certainly drive it from there all the way down to Badger, California, perhaps, or even further south. I don't know. The point is that would also be 6 months. Go to the United States for 6 months and do a road show, do what I had planned to do, but do it in this vehicle. So what motivates me to keep going and keep the builds going and get them perfect is not just the joy of doing it, but the joy that is to come driving it in the world's most fabulous and remote places. So thank you for watching. If you're still there, thank you for watching. I hope this has been enjoyable for you as much as it's been for me. I am now going to continue working. It's now Saturday afternoon. I will release the video within 2 hours of me talking to you this very minute. No, I haven't got my watch back. New South Wales, the Rolex people were servicing it. They closed down. I'm still waiting. It's month 4 now. Is it 4? Apparently they're going back to work next week. See you next time.